Listen carefully, my dear chosen ones. I carry an urgent and weighty message today, and this message is not for everyone. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if your heart is not aligned with His will, this message will not sit well with you. You may even feel led to leave. But if you are truly chosen, truly set apart, you will feel something stir within you right now. You are here because God allowed this message to reach you at the exact moment you needed it. Not early, not late, perfect timing. There is a warning from God concerning your house. Not the walls around you, but the sacred space of your peace, your mind, your calling, and your destiny. There are forces that have noticed your light, and plans have been forming quietly, patiently. God is revealing this not to scare you, but to protect you. If you have felt unsettled without knowing why, if your spirit has been restless, this is why. Stay with me till the end, because what I am about to share will bring clarity, calm, and divine reassurance to your soul. Before we continue, chosen ones, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon so you don't miss what God releases next, share this message with other chosen ones, and comment 777 to declare that you are aligned with God's protection and divine warning.
What the house really means in the spiritual realm. Now let me calm your heart before your thoughts run ahead of you. When God speaks of your house, He is not speaking in fear. He is speaking in depth. The house is a spiritual language. It is the place where your peace lives. It is where your thoughts rest. It is where your calling is nurtured. It is where your faith breathes when no one is watching. Your house is your inner world. It is your mind when you wake up in the morning. It is your spirit when you sit quietly and feel God's presence. It is the emotional space where you recover after battles that no one knows you fought. For chosen ones, the house is sacred ground. That is why it draws attention. Many people misunderstand spiritual warnings because they take them too literally. God does not warn His chosen ones to make them afraid. He warns them to make them aware. Awareness is protection. Fear is distraction. And you, chosen one, are not called to live distracted. Your house also represents your order, the structure of your life, your habits, your discipline, your prayer life, your silence, your obedience. When God builds a house, He builds it with intention. When the enemy studies a house, he looks for cracks, not to destroy the building, but to disturb the peace inside it. Let me say this clearly, and let it settle your heart. If God is warning you about your house, it means your house is worth guarding. No one plans against what has no value. No one studies what carries no future. The warning itself is proof that you are carrying something precious. Chosen ones often feel this attack first in the mind. That is because the mind is the doorway to the house. Thoughts come quietly. Doubts whisper softly. Distractions appear harmless. But God sees the pattern before you feel the impact. That is why He speaks early. Your house is also your calling. The mission God planted inside you long before others noticed you. The assignment that makes you different. The reason your life never felt ordinary. When your calling matures, resistance increases. Not because you are weak, but because you are close. Some of you have felt an unusual heaviness lately. Not sadness, not depression. Just a weight, a pressure. A sense that something is trying to sit where peace belongs. That is not coincidence. That is a sign that your house has been noticed. But listen to me carefully. Being noticed does not mean being defeated. In Scripture, a house always symbolized authority. Kings ruled from houses, families were identified by houses, blessings flowed through houses. When God protected His people, He protected their houses. When He warned them, it was because something was approaching that could be avoided through obedience. Your house includes your family line, your spiritual inheritance, the generational shift you were chosen to carry. That is why sometimes the pressure feels older than you, deeper than a single moment. You're not imagining it. You're carrying something ancient and powerful, and God trusts you with it. Let me bring peace to your thoughts right now. Nothing can enter a house that God Himself is guarding unless He allows it for a greater purpose. And God does not allow destruction for His chosen. He allows refinement. There is a difference. The enemy does not attack randomly. He studies rhythms. He watches seasons. He waits for moments of fatigue. That is why rest is spiritual. That is why silence is protection. That is why discernment matters more than reaction. If your house were weak, God would not warn you. He would rebuild you quietly. But He is warning you because you are already standing, already built, already strengthened. This warning is not a sign of danger. It is a sign of maturity. You are being taught how to guard what God has entrusted to you, not with fear, not with panic, but with wisdom, with stillness, with authority. Take a breath here. Let your shoulders relax. Nothing is chasing you. Nothing is overpowering you. God is simply pulling the curtain back so you can see clearly. And when you see clearly, you stand calmly. Your house is not fragile. It is anointed. It has survived storms before you even understood what they were. And it will stand now, stronger than ever, because God Himself is watching over it. Stay with me. What comes next will bring even more clarity to why this warning came now, and why it is actually a sign that something good is very close. Let me add this, and listen slowly, because this part is meant to settle something deep inside you. A chosen one's house is also their emotional territory. It is where you process disappointment, where you carry unspoken grief, where you hold memories you never talk about, and because you are chosen, you do not heal the same way others do. You heal quietly, you heal deeply, you heal alone with God. That makes your inner house rich with spiritual substance, and anything rich attracts attention. Some of you have wondered why small things lately felt heavier than they should, why certain words lingered longer than usual, why you felt the need to withdraw, to sit in silence, to protect your energy. That is not weakness. That is instinct sharpened by the Spirit. God trains His chosen ones to sense shifts before they become storms. Your house is also your spiritual rhythm. When you pray, when you rest, when you create, when you obey. Disruption is often the first goal of an attack, not destruction, confusion. Because if rhythm is broken, clarity suffers. That is why God is calling your attention back to stillness right now. And hear me clearly here. You are not under threat, you are under instruction. There is a difference. Threat produces fear. Instruction produces wisdom. God is not sounding an alarm. He is offering guidance. This is a season where guarding your house does not mean building walls. It means maintaining alignment, watching what enters your thoughts, choosing peace over reaction, trusting God's timing instead of forcing answers. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not exposed. You are positioned. And when God positions His chosen, nothing moves without His permission. Let that truth rest on you like a covering. Why chosen ones are always targeted before breakthrough. Now let me speak to you with honesty and authority, because this is where many chosen ones misunderstand their season. Chosen one, you are not being targeted because you are weak. You are being targeted because you are close. This is a law of the spiritual realm that has never changed. Opposition always increases when movement is near. Resistance always appears when elevation is approaching. And confusion always tries to enter right before clarity is released. Look at every soul God ever raised. Joseph was targeted before the palace. David was hunted before the crown. Job was tested before restoration. Even Jesus faced resistance before fulfillment. This is not coincidence. This is pattern. And patterns exist to prepare you, not to break you. Chosen ones walk with weight in the Spirit. Even when you are silent, you carry authority. Even when you feel unsure, your presence shifts rooms. And that is exactly why resistance notices you before you notice it. The enemy does not wait until you arrive. He moves when you are almost there. Many of you have asked quietly, why now? Why when you finally feel stronger? Why when you finally found peace? Why when you stopped chasing and started trusting? The answer is simple. Because you stopped being distracted. And when distraction leaves, destiny speaks louder. Chosen ones are always attacked in the transition phase, not at the beginning and not at the destination, but in the middle. The middle is dangerous because it is where faith replaces effort. It is where you no longer panic, but you have not yet fully arrived. That calm confidence threatens systems that thrive on fear. Understand this deeply. Silence from opposition usually means stagnation. When nothing pushes against you, it often means nothing is moving forward. Resistance is not punishment. It is confirmation. Some of you have felt isolated lately. Conversations feel shallow. People feel distant. You crave depth but feel surrounded by noise. That is not loneliness. That is separation. God separates before he elevates. And separation always feels uncomfortable before it feels purposeful. Chosen ones are not attacked publicly first. They are tested privately, in the mind, in the heart, in moments no one sees. Because if your inner house stands firm, the outer world has no power over you. This is why chosen ones feel pressure that others do not understand. You carry responsibility before you carry recognition. You carry discernment before you carry clarity. You feel the weight before you see the reward. That is the cost of assignment. Let me say something that will bring relief to your soul. God does not allow attacks to measure your weakness. He allows them to reveal your growth. If you were fragile, the warning would not be needed. You would already be hidden. But you are visible because you are ready. Many of you have noticed that old tactics no longer work on you. What once triggered you now only irritates you briefly. What once distracted you now feels obvious. That is growth. And when growth happens, the enemy must change strategy. That is why this warning feels different. It is not loud, it is subtle, because subtlety is used when force fails. Chosen ones outgrow simple opposition. So the attack shifts to timing, to patience, to waiting, to exhaustion, to whispering doubts like, maybe later, or maybe this isn't it, or maybe you should rest longer than necessary. Not to destroy you, but to delay you. Delay is the favorite weapon against destiny. But listen to me carefully now. Delay only works when you forget who you are. And today, you are being reminded. You are not the same person you were seasons ago. Your discernment is sharper. Your spirit is stronger. Your connection with God is deeper. That is why the warning comes now, not before. You can hear it now. You can understand it now. You can respond wisely now. Chosen ones do not fight harder when targeted. They stand firmer. They do not react emotionally. They respond spiritually. They do not rush to defend themselves. They let God defend what he built. This season is not about proving anything. It is about preserving something. Your peace, your clarity, your alignment. These are the real treasures. Let me speak directly to your spirit. If the pressure has increased, it is because your capacity has expanded. God never pours into a vessel that cannot hold it. The tension you feel is not danger. It is preparation. You are closer than you think. And that is why the warning came now. Stay calm, stay aware, stay aligned. The next part will help you recognize the subtle signs that the plan was forming before you ever sensed it, and why noticing them early gives you authority, not fear. Let me add this gently, because this part is where many chosen ones finally exhale. You must understand that not every attack is meant to stop you. Some are meant to expose what no longer belongs in your life. When pressure increases, weak connections loosen. When weight is applied, unstable structures reveal themselves. That is not loss, that is alignment. Some of you have recently seen people change toward you. Less support, less warmth, less understanding. Do not take that personally. When your frequency shifts, not everyone can follow. God removes certain influences quietly before advancement, because carrying unnecessary weight into a new season can become a burden. Chosen ones are not attacked because of what they lack, but because of what they are about to carry. Increased responsibility requires increased refinement, and refinement often feels like resistance before it feels like release. This is also why God allows you to sense the attack before it arrives. Awareness removes shock, and when shock is removed, fear has no foothold. You are not meant to be surprised in this season. You are meant to be steady. Notice how you are calmer than you would have been before. Notice how you are thinking more clearly, even under pressure. That is not coincidence. That is evidence that the warning is already working within you. You are not being tested to fail. You are being trusted to stand. And when you stand, quietly, without panic, without chasing answers, you frustrate every plan formed against your house. Remain still in your spirit. God is closer than you realize. Signs. The attack is already planned, but not yet released. Now listen closely. Chosen one, because this part requires honesty with yourself, not fear. What I am about to explain is not meant to alarm you. It is meant to help you recognize patterns so you can remain steady. When God allows you to see signs early, it is because the outcome is already under His control. Spiritual attacks rarely announce themselves loudly. They do not knock on the door. They test the locks quietly. They observe first. They probe gently. And most of the time, they begin in places that feel ordinary. One of the first signs is a subtle mental exhaustion that does not match your physical activity. You may wake up tired even after rest, not drained, just dull, as if your thoughts are moving slower than usual. This happens because the mind is often the first place pressure is applied, not to overpower you but to wear you down gradually. God allows you to notice this so you can slow down before fatigue turns into frustration. Another sign appears in your sleep. Not nightmares, but disturbance. You fall asleep easily, but wake up earlier than expected. Or you sleep deeply yet feel unrested. Sometimes dreams feel vivid but unclear. This is not always spiritual warfare, but when it aligns with a season of warning, it signals that your inner house is processing more than usual. God often works in the stillness of sleep, and interference tries to interrupt that restoration. Pay attention also to emotional sensitivity. Small things may feel heavier than they should. Words linger longer. Silence feels louder. You may find yourself withdrawing without planning to. This is not weakness. It is your spirit conserving energy. Chosen ones instinctively protect their inner space when something is approaching. You are not isolating. You are preserving. Conflict is another sign, especially unexpected conflict. Conversations that normally flow smoothly suddenly feel tense. Misunderstandings appear without clear cause. Loved ones may project stress onto you. This is not because you did something wrong. It is because peace is often tested through relationships first. If harmony can be shaken, clarity becomes harder to maintain. That is why God is calling you to respond calmly, not defensively. Distraction is a very common sign. Not dramatic temptation, but subtle pulling. You intend to pray, but delay. You plan to reflect, but choose noise instead. You know what restores you, yet feel oddly resistant to it. This is not rebellion. It is pressure trying to redirect your focus. Awareness here is powerful. The moment you notice distraction, its influence weakens. Some chosen ones experience a return of old thoughts, doubts you thought you outgrew, questions you already answered in earlier seasons. This does not mean you are regressing. It means those thoughts no longer have power, so they are being reintroduced to test whether they still matter to you. And you will notice they feel familiar, but less convincing. That is progress. Another sign is the urge to over-explain yourself, to defend your intentions, to justify your pace. This urge often appears when internal balance is slightly disturbed. When you are aligned, you do not feel the need to convince. When pressure approaches, the mind seeks reassurance externally. God is teaching you to return inward, where your authority rests. You may also notice heightened discernment. You sense things before they happen. You feel shifts in energy when entering spaces. You pick up on unspoken tension. This is not imagination. This is awareness increasing in response to warning. God sharpens perception before protection is needed. Chosen ones often report a feeling of being watched spiritually, not physically, not fearfully, just a sense of attention. This is not paranoia. It is spiritual visibility. When your light increases, attention follows. But attention does not equal access. Observation does not equal permission. God remains the gatekeeper. Another quiet sign is a change in timing. Delays without explanation, plans moving slower than expected, doors not closing but not opening yet either. This pause is intentional. God often slows movement to strengthen foundation. Attacks lose effectiveness when timing is controlled. Some of you may feel called to clean your space, to organize, to simplify, to remove clutter. This is not random. External order often reflects internal preparation. You are aligning your environment with your spirit. That is wisdom, not coincidence. Let me say something important here. Not every uncomfortable feeling is an attack, and not every sign means danger. Discernment is about pattern, not panic. One sign alone means little. Alignment of several signs creates awareness. God does not allow harm to approach without first increasing your sensitivity. That is mercy, that is love, and that is why you are noticing these things now before anything escalates. The key here is response, not reaction. Chosen ones do not rush to fix what God is already managing. They observe, they pray, they adjust gently. If you have been feeling the need to rest more, honor it. If you have felt called to silence, respect it. If you sense that certain conversations drain you, step back without guilt. Protection does not require explanation. You are not meant to confront anything in this season. You are meant to remain steady, calm, grounded, alert without anxiety. Let me bring peace to your mind right now. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is out of control. Nothing has caught God by surprise. What you are sensing is not threat. It is preparation. Awareness is already doing its work. And in the next part, I will explain why God allows warnings like this, not to frighten you, but to position you exactly where you need to be, so that nothing formed against your house can succeed. God's warning is not to scare you, it is to position you. Now breathe with me for a moment, chosen one, because this is where fear leaves and understanding takes its place. God does not warn his chosen to frighten them. He warns them to position them. Fear belongs to confusion. Positioning belongs to wisdom. And God is a God of order, not chaos. If he allowed this message to reach you, it is because you are capable of receiving it with clarity, not panic. Think about this carefully. God sees the end before the beginning. He does not react. He prepares. So when a warning comes, it is never because danger is winning. It is because alignment is required. The warning is not about what is coming against you. It is about where you are being placed. Many chosen ones misunderstand divine warnings because they expect God to speak only when something is wrong. But God often speaks when something is about to go right. He adjusts posture before promotion. He refines focus before favor. He slows you down before acceleration. This is why the warning feels calm, not loud, clear, not chaotic. God is not shouting at you to run. He is inviting you to stand still and listen. Let me say this with authority. Nothing that God allows you to perceive has permission to harm you. Awareness removes power from opposition. When something is exposed, it loses the element of surprise, and surprise is what fear feeds on. God's warning positions you mentally first. Before anything shifts externally, your inner world is adjusted. Your thoughts slow down. Your reactions soften. Your discernment sharpens. This is not weakness. This is strength under control. Chosen ones are not trained to fight everything. They are trained to discern what is worth engaging and what is meant to pass by. And in this season, God is teaching you restraint, not resistance. You see, panic is not spiritual urgency. Panic is distraction dressed as importance. God never rushes his chosen. He steadies them. He grounds them. He reminds them who is in control. Some of you have noticed that instead of feeling afraid, you feel quieter. Instead of reacting emotionally, you feel observant. That is positioning. God is moving you out of emotional responses and into spiritual authority. When God warns you, he also assigns protection. Angels are not dispatched after danger arrives. They are assigned before movement begins. You may not see them, but you will feel their influence through peace that does not make sense. This is why calm is the greatest sign of divine covering. Fear is loud. Peace is confident. And right now, God is surrounding your house with peace, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is under control. Let me correct a common misunderstanding. Being positioned does not mean becoming passive. It means becoming precise. You're not withdrawing from life. You are refining your focus. You are choosing what deserves your energy and what does not. God is positioning you away from unnecessary conversations, away from draining environments, away from emotional labor that does not serve your calling. This is not isolation. This is protection through alignment. Notice how you are less interested in proving yourself, less concerned with being understood, less reactive to opinions. That is not detachment. That is maturity. Warnings often come in seasons where obedience matters more than effort. God is not asking you to do more. He is asking you to listen more, to respond slower, to trust deeper. Some chosen ones believe they must act immediately when warned, but God is saying, wait, be still, let me lead. Movement without instruction creates exposure. Stillness under guidance creates safety. This is why Scripture repeatedly says to stand still and see. Seeing requires stillness. Movement clouds perception. God is also positioning your timing. Not everything that could happen will happen now. Delays are often protection disguised as inconvenience. God slows you down so nothing collides with your purpose prematurely. If you have felt plans slowing, doors pausing, or progress stretching longer than expected, do not grow impatient. God is spacing events carefully. Precision requires patience. Let me speak gently to those of you who feel the urge to fix everything, to control outcomes, to anticipate every possibility. Release that weight. Control is not faith. Trust is. God does not need you to manage the threat. He needs you to maintain alignment. Alignment gives him access. Misalignment creates noise. This is also why prayer feels different in this season. You are not begging, you are listening. You are not asking for rescue, you are receiving instruction. That is growth. God positions his chosen through inner calm, because calm allows you to hear what panic would drown out. Calm allows you to recognize guidance that fear would ignore. Let me say this clearly and let it settle deeply. You are not in danger. You are in preparation. You are not being attacked. You are being refined. You are not exposed. You are covered. Warnings are not signs of vulnerability. They are signs of trust. God does not warn everyone. He warns those who can handle responsibility. And you, chosen one, have proven through previous seasons that you can stand without collapsing. You have endured without hardening. You have remained faithful without becoming fearful. That is why God speaks to you now, not because you are weak, but because you are ready. As long as you remain aligned, nothing formed against your house can gain access. Plans may exist, but permission does not. In the next part, I will guide you gently through how a chosen one guards their house without fighting, without panic, and without losing peace. This is where wisdom becomes practice, and calm becomes your greatest defense. Let me add this final layer of understanding, because this is where many chosen ones finally release the last trace of tension. Positioning often feels like waiting, and waiting can feel uncomfortable when you are used to movement. But waiting with God is not inactivity. It is alignment in progress. When God positions you, He is adjusting angles you cannot see, protecting you from outcomes you would not have chosen wisely on your own. Some of you feel the urge to explain yourselves right now, to clarify intentions, to make sure others understand your heart. Let that urge rest. God is teaching you that clarity does not come from explanation. It comes from consistency. What is real will remain. What is false will fall away without your effort. This warning is also an invitation to trust silence. Silence is not absence. Silence is strength restrained. When you remain calm, when you do not rush to respond, when you choose peace over reaction, you are not losing ground. You are gaining authority. God is positioning your emotions too, teaching you not to be ruled by them, but to understand them without obeying every feeling. That is spiritual maturity. Nothing about this season requires force. Everything requires faith. Remain where God has placed you. Rest in His timing. Your house is not exposed. It is being fortified quietly, precisely, and lovingly. How the chosen one protects their house without fighting. Now listen to me carefully, chosen one, because this is where wisdom replaces anxiety. You do not protect your house by fighting everything that approaches it. Fighting is loud. Fighting is reactive. Fighting drains energy. And you, chosen one, are not called to live drained. You are called to live discerning. The greatest mistake many chosen ones make is assuming that protection requires confrontation. It does not. Confrontation often creates access. Silence, when guided by God, closes doors quietly. Protection begins internally. It begins with how you respond to thoughts. Every thought does not deserve attention. Every feeling does not deserve obedience. Every urge does not require action. The chosen one learns to pause before responding, and in that pause, clarity appears. Your first defense is awareness without emotion. When something feels off, you do not panic. You observe. You ask God quietly. You allow discernment to surface. Panic clouds judgment. Calm sharpens it. Silence is one of the strongest forms of spiritual protection. Silence does not mean weakness. It means control. When you do not explain yourself unnecessarily, you protect your peace. When you do not react immediately, you protect your clarity. When you do not engage in every conversation, you protect your authority. The enemy thrives on reaction. God thrives in stillness. Chosen ones protect their house by guarding what enters their mind. Not everything you hear is meant to be carried. Not every opinion deserves space. You must be selective. Peace is not automatic. It is maintained through discernment. Watch what you consume. Conversations, media, environments. Energy transfers through exposure. You do not need to fear this. You simply need to be intentional. What drains you does not deserve unlimited access to you. Another form of protection is rest. Many underestimate rest because it feels passive, but rest is obedience when God instructs it. When you rest, you are telling the spiritual realm that you trust God more than your own effort. That trust frustrates every plan formed against you. Prayer in this season is not loud or desperate. It is quiet and consistent. You are not pleading for safety. You are aligning with it. Prayer becomes listening more than speaking. Stillness becomes communication. Protecting your house also means protecting your words. Speak less. Choose words carefully. Words carry weight in the spiritual realm. Complaints weaken authority. Gratitude strengthens it. Speak peace even when circumstances try to provoke frustration. Another powerful form of protection is emotional boundaries. You do not owe everyone access to your inner world. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to say no without explanation. You are allowed to protect your energy without guilt. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. Chosen ones often feel responsible for fixing situations that are not theirs to fix. Release that burden. God does not need your intervention everywhere. He needs your obedience where He places you. Discernment also means knowing when not to act. Not every issue is an assignment. Not every challenge is yours to carry. Sometimes the greatest protection is stepping aside and letting God handle what He never asked you to manage. Your house is also protected by consistency. Keep your rhythm. Do not abandon habits that ground you. Prayer, reflection, rest, order. These things create stability. Stability repels chaos. When life feels noisy, simplify. Remove unnecessary commitments. Reduce stimulation. Choose quality over quantity. Simplicity is not limitation. It is focus refined. Let me address something important here. You do not need to rebuke everything. You do not need to name every threat. You do not need to fight every battle spiritually. Authority does not come from volume. It comes from alignment. God fights battles you never even see when you remain aligned. Many victories happen without announcement. Quiet victories still count. Protecting your house also means trusting God's timing. Do not rush decisions in this season. Quick decisions often bypass wisdom. Slow decisions invite clarity. If something requires urgency, God will make it clear without anxiety. If you feel pressure to act quickly, pause. Pressure rarely comes from God. Guidance comes with peace. Chosen ones protect their house by choosing faith over fear daily. Fear demands control. Faith allows surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is handing responsibility to the one who sees everything. Another key form of protection is gratitude. Gratitude anchors you in the present. It reminds your spirit of what God has already done. Gratitude closes doors to discouragement. Let me speak directly to your spirit now. You are not required to prove your strength. You are not required to demonstrate your power. Your calm presence is already a declaration. The house that remains peaceful in pressure confuses opposition. Chaos feeds on reaction. When reaction is absent, chaos loses direction. God has not called you to survive by force. He has called you to stand by faith. If you remain still, if you remain aligned, if you remain discerning, nothing formed against your house will find access. Plans may exist, but they will dissolve without engagement. This is not because you are doing everything perfectly. It is because God is actively guarding what belongs to Him. In the next part, I will show you what happens after these plans fail and why failed attacks often release blessings that could not arrive any other way. Stay with me. Let me add this carefully, because this is where protection becomes a way of life, not just a response to pressure. Chosen one, protecting your house also means protecting your pace. You do not need to rush just because others are moving quickly. Speed without direction leads to exhaustion. God sets your pace intentionally. When you move too fast, you outrun discernment. When you move too slow out of fear, you delay obedience. But when you move in rhythm with God, nothing collides with your purpose. Pay attention to how your body responds in this season. Tension is often a signal, not an enemy. If something consistently tightens your spirit, drains your energy, or unsettles your peace, that is information. God often speaks through discomfort before He speaks through clarity. Listen without judgment. Another quiet form of protection is choosing who you allow to speak into your life. Not everyone who has access deserves influence. Some voices mean well but lack discernment. Some advice sounds logical but is spiritually misaligned. You are allowed to listen without agreeing. You are allowed to receive without applying. Wisdom knows the difference. You also protect your house by honoring what God has already shown you. Do not doubt previous confirmations just because a new season feels unfamiliar. God does not contradict Himself. He builds in layers. Trust what He spoke when you were clear, not what fear whispers when pressure rises. Let me say this plainly. You do not need to explain your boundaries to anyone who benefits from you having none. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates, and you decide what enters and what leaves. In this season, your greatest strength is gentleness with yourself. Do not criticize your moments of fatigue. Do not shame yourself for needing rest. God is not disappointed in your humanity. He designed it. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the wisdom to manage it. Your house remains protected not because you are perfect, but because you are aware, aligned, and willing to listen. And that willingness is more powerful than force ever could be. Remain steady. God is doing more than you can see. What happens after the attack fails? God's promise. Now listen to me slowly, chosen one, because this part is meant to lift your eyes beyond the tension and settle your heart in hope. Every plan formed against a chosen one carries an expiration date, not because the plan was weak, but because God never allows opposition to outlive purpose. When an attack fails, it does not simply disappear. It transforms the spiritual atmosphere around you, and what follows is not emptiness, but movement. After an attack fails, the first thing God restores is peace, not surface-level calm, but deep, unshakable peace. The kind that does not depend on circumstances, the kind that remains even when questions are unanswered. This peace is not accidental. It is evidence that authority has been reinforced. Many chosen ones notice that after pressure lifts, clarity increases. Decisions become easier, confusion fades. What once felt complicated suddenly feels obvious. This is because resistance clouds vision. When resistance loses influence, sight returns. Another promise after failed opposition is exposure. Not dramatic exposure, not public confrontation, but quiet revelation. You begin to see people clearly. Motives become transparent. Patterns reveal themselves without effort. God does this to protect you from repeating cycles. He does not expose to embarrass, he exposes to educate. After an attack fails, God often restores energy. You may not realize how much strength you are carrying until it returns. Joy feels lighter. Laughter comes easier. Motivation reappears naturally. This is not coincidence. It is the body and spirit releasing pressure they no longer need to hold. There is also an increase in spiritual authority, not in arrogance but in confidence. You trust your discernment more, you second-guess less, you move with assurance instead of hesitation. This is the reward of standing firm without panic. Let me say this clearly. Failed attacks strengthen the chosen one. They do not weaken them. Each time you remain aligned under pressure, your capacity increases. Your tolerance for distraction decreases. Your sensitivity to God's voice sharpens. God also brings restoration in unexpected ways. Opportunities appear without striving. Conversations open doors without manipulation. Support arrives from places you did not anticipate. This is how God compensates for seasons of restraint. He does not rush restoration. He releases it precisely. Another promise after failed opposition is elevation in trust. God entrusts more to those who handle pressure well. He gives deeper insight, greater responsibility, stronger assignments. This is not burden, this is honor. Some chosen ones fear opposition because they think it delays blessing, but often opposition refines blessing. It ensures that what arrives does not overwhelm you. God prepares you so that favor does not become pressure. You may also notice that certain desires fade. What once felt urgent no longer holds power. You become more selective, more intentional, more grounded. This is maturity forming quietly. After an attack fails, God often restores your voice. Not louder, but clearer. You speak with confidence. You share without fear. You express truth without needing validation. This voice is not forced. It flows naturally. Let me address something important. Not every victory feels dramatic. Some victories feel like relief, like breathing again, like sleeping peacefully, like feeling present in your own life. Do not underestimate these victories. They are sacred. God also brings confirmation after failed attacks. Small signs, quiet reassurance, moments where you realize you were never alone. These confirmations are not for spectacle. They are for trust. Another promise is alignment with the right people. Relationships that feel safe, conversations that nourish, connections that respect your pace. God removes what drains before he introduces what sustains. Let me speak to those who feel tired of always being strong. God sees that fatigue, and He promises renewal. Not just rest, but joy. Not just recovery, but fulfillment. After an attack fails, you often realize how protected you truly were. Looking back, you see how things could have gone differently, but did not. That realization builds faith that cannot be shaken. God also uses failed attacks as testimony. Not always public, but personal. You remember what He brought you through. That memory becomes a foundation for future confidence. And let me say this gently. Some blessings only arrive after resistance ends. Not because God was withholding, but because timing matters. Blessings released too early can be mishandled. God waits until you are ready to receive them with peace. You may also notice an increased sense of gratitude. Appreciation for small things. Awareness of quiet miracles. Gratitude anchors you in reality. It keeps you grounded. Failed attacks also bring clarity about your calling. What matters becomes clear. What does not fades naturally. Focus sharpens. Direction steadies. Chosen one, the promise is not that attacks will never form. The promise is that they will never succeed. God does not remove all opposition. He removes its authority. You are not promised an easy path. You are promised a protected one. And as you continue walking, you will realize that every season of warning was also a season of preparation. Every moment of stillness was building strength. Every quiet decision was shaping destiny. You did not just survive, you matured. And in the conclusion, I will help you seal this message into your spirit so you can move forward without fear, knowing your house is guarded, your path is clear, and your God is faithful. Conclusion. Stand still. God is guarding your house. Chosen one, let your heart rest now. Nothing you have heard today is meant to weigh you down. It is meant to lift you up. God does not warn to frighten. He warns to assure. And the very fact that you received this message is proof that your house is not forgotten, not exposed, and not unguarded. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not vulnerable. You are aware. And awareness, when guided by God, becomes protection. What was planned against your peace has already been limited. What tried to approach your house has already been seen. Nothing moves without God's permission, and nothing touches what He has marked as His own. Stand still in your spirit, not passive but grounded, not fearful but trusting. You do not need to rush. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to fight. God is handling what you cannot see while you protect what He has already placed in your care. Let peace become your posture. Let discernment guide your steps. Let silence strengthen you. Your calm is not weakness. It is authority under control. I want you to remember this moving forward. Warnings are not signs of danger. They are signs of favor. God speaks to those He trusts, and He trusts you. Before you go, chosen one, if this message settled your spirit, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon so you stay connected to what God releases next, and share this message with other chosen ones who need reassurance today. And comment 777 to declare that your house is covered, your mind is protected, and you are fully aligned with God's divine guidance. Remain in peace. God is with you.